Nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award, a BAFTA Award, and an Academy Award, Austin Butler. Great to see you. Thanks for coming. Great to see you. Have a seat. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. Also, can we hear it for Dave? You are so great.
That's nice of you. Thank you very much.
Such a comfortable space.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This has been so inspiring.
It's so much fun for me to do this. You guys are great. I love hearing your stories, so thank you. You know, you are a very mild-mannered guy. I think shy could qualify. And yet, look what you've done. And I think to myself, I'm so in awe of actors in general, particularly the ones who are mild-mannered. What do you think about yourself when you realize what you've done? And as a shy, mild-mannered person, what even gave you like the gumption to know that you could take on something like this?
Delusion. Probably. I think it's the same thing that got me into acting in the first place. You know, I was a very, very introverted kid. You know, I've told the story before about how I would go to a restaurant with my mom and I would have to whisper to her what I wanted and she would order for me. And then I stumbled into being on a set, and I started to, and suddenly something sparked in me. And I don't know quite what that was, but the best way that I can say it is I just feel as though I found my tribe, you know. And then it gave me, through going to acting classes and starting to get certain parts that forced me to have to look at bits of myself and reveal things that maybe I had repressed, and then, you know, you end up getting revered for the things that you would be sent away for if you did them on the street. So yeah, I just kind of, you know, used it as a way to explore more of myself and be liberated somewhat in the process.
This is a film that was a long time coming, even after you got the part. Thanks to the pandemic, it kind of started and stopped and started again. Did you ever come to a place where you were on the verge of giving up hope that it was going to finish, or did you always know, we're going to do this?
Wait, that the film was going to finish?
Yeah.
Well, that we were actually going to shoot it?
Yeah.
No, I never gave up hope, I don't think. There was a moment where, so, you know, Tom Hanks got this COVID thing, and so we shut down production, and we were about 3 days from starting shooting, and so at first we thought it was going to be 2 weeks, and then it turned out to be 6 months that the film shut down, and so I stayed in Australia because I knew that I'd already been preparing for about a year at that point, and so I knew that if I went back to Los Angeles or New York or something, that suddenly I'd have to be having dinners with friends, and life would kind of flood back in, and I would lose some of that focus. So I just thought, you know, this is a perfect time for me to just stay and double down and throw all my chips on the table. And there was a time where Baz took me on a walk, and he said, you know, I think the film may be over. We may not be able to make it. And I said, well, until we know that for sure, I'm going to stay. And so I just stayed, and I would walk down the beach, you know, practicing laughing like Elvis or something, and that was my life for 6 months. And then we shot the movie, and
wow.
Yeah.
This is a question, a question I'm sure you've answered numerous times, but because I have never heard personally the answer, I'm going to ask it. When you think of all of the different aspects and all of the different training, the voice, the singing voice, the movement, was there one part of this training, this preparation, this performance that was the hardest to feel like you had gotten down?
I think it was how they all fit together, you know, because there's all this sort of technical things of, you know, dialect work or singing work or learning karate or whatever the things were that I did, and it's sort of like you're spinning a ton of plates at the same time. And so, and it was also challenging because Elvis changed a lot over those years that I was playing him. So, I mean, it's 3 decades. And so he walked differently, he spoke differently, he performed differently. There were so many changes. He was different spiritually and emotionally and everything. And so, and then we're filming out of sequence, so that's tricky as well, to lock yourself into each one of those periods. And but for me, it was, I think it was mostly just walking that tightrope of wanting to find his humanity as much as I possibly could, but not losing all those intricate things that, his physical mannerisms or those sorts of things that make you go, oh, that's giving me the essence of Elvis. So it's those tricky things, because if you go too far into the one direction, it's just an impersonation, and it's like you're going to a wax museum. And so it's trying to figure out how to meld all that together, and while spinning the plates of going, okay, we've got Hound Dogs coming up, so I need to really prepare for that, and that's kind of what it is.
One really interesting byproduct, I think, of this whole experience for you is the close relationship that you've developed with members of the Presley family. I mean, from Priscilla to Lisa Marie to Riley, I mean, multi-generations have become close people of you, and you've dealt with loss with that relationship. I can't imagine you expected that was going to be part of this experience. What has that part of it added to this whole thing for you?
I mean, to me, that's been the greatest gift of anything. Yeah, they weren't involved in the process of the making of the film. They didn't read the scripts as they went on, and Baz met with them initially and quite a few times, but I didn't even meet Lisa Marie until the film came out, and so I was incredibly nervous when they were going to watch the film, because I really thought they may hate it, they may not want anything to do with this, and that would just crush me, because the whole thing for me, I just wanted to do justice to this man, Elvis, and I wanted to do justice to his family and all the fans around the world who love him. And yeah. But then there's that nerve-wracking moment where you know that they're sitting down in the theater and they're going to watch it for the first time. And they were watching it before I had seen it. I waited, and so I let them watch it first. And then they watched it, and then I got this email. Well, Baz got this email, and he read it to me from Priscilla, and then I eventually went down to Graceland, and I met Lisa Marie for the first time. And that's the greatest review I'll ever get in my life, I'm sure, because it was so personal to them, and the way that it resonated with them, and the way that they've welcomed me into their family. I just could not be more grateful.
That's so great. Congratulations, Austin. Thank you so much for being here. Austin Butler. Hey, stay right there.